Are we?
I got to sing it. It's really fast.
Are you really singing?
Yeah, I am. This is the May Creative Podcast. Today we're going to interview some people while Sam struggles to clap on time.
Woo. Hello and welcome to the Make Creative Podcast, your monthly podcast of creativeness. I am so good at that intro now. My name is Sam.
And I am Connor.
And with us today is our special guest artist from last month. I can't remember.
Yep, last month. Yep.
Last month, yes. Yes.
Last month.
Yep.
Jamin Booth, welcome to the Make Creative Podcast.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
Good. Well, that's good. Yeah, it'd be sad if you didn't think it.
That's right. Well,
This would be really awkward.
He wouldn't be here. Yeah, he wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Welcome to our red, white, and blue set today. We're feeling very American, apparently.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, America. Anyway, so let's get into it. Jamin, you did the artist spotlight for us,
Yes.
and you did a mashup of 10,000 Reasons, and what was the other one?
Jesus Messiah.
Jesus Messiah. How'd you go about doing that? Why did you choose those songs? Like, tell us a bit.
How honest do you want me to be?
Let's go 50% honesty.
50%. Okay, well, no, 50% would be, or 100% was because I really do like those two songs.
Oh, that's good.
So that's 100% honesty. But
I love Jesus Messiah.
the 50% part would probably be because that's what I felt like playing when I arrived.
Oh,
that was about it. Yeah. Didn't really have anything planned before that. I just thought we would roll with it and see what I felt like doing at the time.
Yeah, if anyone would ever question James' ability, he did that mashup basically. You know, he just figured out exactly what he needed to play. so like this is not something that he rehearsed like 100 times over.
Well, it was sort of like we've got time to do this, let's get it on. So that was what we did.
Yeah, I think, that definitely speaks to your level of musicianship, which is interesting because you have toured in a gospel band, right?
A gospel band might be a bit stretching it, but we were a group of young guys that used to jam together, and it sort of just developed from that.
Yeah.
So we sort of went through youth groups together, and we played at a few different conventions and stuff together, and we decided that we liked that, so we would just keep doing that every Sunday. We would just catch up and have a jam. So that's sort of how it started out,
And how did it kind of progress into more than that?
So we, like I say, every Sunday after church, we would just go to one of our churches and we would get together and jam for, I don't know, hours usually. It would just go on until
awesome.
Yeah. And from that, we started to play a little bit at those churches and do some, I guess, gigs like that. And also the Keswick conventions that were in Perth, we used to be part of that larger band. And so, people would sort of ask us to do items and bits and pieces from that. So, sort of developed that. And then we decided that we might come up with a name for it. So we came up with the name Jasper, which is actually a precious stone in the Bible, with all the colours of the rainbow in it.
Oh, nice.
So we just did that, and back in that day, we sort of screen printed our own shirts. There was no cool technology back then.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything fancy like that, so we made our own, But we did have shirts.
That's cool.
Yeah. Our merch store wasn't quite as active. Yeah. No social media. We just did that, and then we started getting a bit more proficient at that, and then we started to be asked to go and play at some churches to maybe help out with their worship services where they didn't quite have the same level of musicians that could come up every week and do that. So that's sort of where it went. Yeah. That's sort of how it went. We didn't get to go much past that. We were just leaving high school, or some of us were, and everyone was getting full-time jobs and relationships changed and people moved away. So we didn't quite get to really continue on. Also, like I was saying to Connor earlier, that social media wasn't there. There was no such thing.
Exactly,
in fact, there was not even MySpace back then. For people that know, that's right. So prior to all that, it was just if people told other people about us, then they would know. Otherwise, no one would know that we were there. Yeah.
So word of mouth is basically it.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. So if they saw us play somewhere, they might come up and ask if we can do this and do that. But that was about it.
I do actually remember a few years ago, Jamin mentioning Jasper and how they used to go and help out in churches, and I remember going, oh wow, like people, you can do that, like you can go to churches and like I just didn't, like for me, like I've for most of the services and most of the church stuff in my life, seldom does anyone take over worship.
I think it was more just, and it was more really just because some churches find it hard to get a band together.
Yeah.
And, you know, they do their thing, but sometimes it's nice to have someone come in and help and do that for them, where they can just all be in the congregation and be led through that, and to join in with that, because sometimes when you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle, sometimes it actually creates a bit of a barrier between that worship time.
Yeah.
You know, I use that word a little lightly. It's not really just a worship thing, but, you know, that's what we call it in the modern day thing. But, you know, it sometimes can create a barrier. And so to take that away and be able to help a church really just focus on being there with God and spending that time in song to God, then I think that's really cool.
So tell us, you're obviously very skilled if you'd watched the Artist Spotlight. Tell us how you got into piano, not guitar, piano.
Oh, that's right. Thanks,
Not
Tom.
guitar,
Yeah.
not guitar.
I did do guitar for a while, but
I'm
that's a
sorry.
different story. I started when I was 4. It was kind of something that was forced on me at that time. Not that I didn't want to do it. It was just that was what.
You didn't choose to do it. But
Yeah,
you
we
did
had
not
a
enjoy it.
piano in the house, and that I used to muck around on that a little bit, you know, as a young kid. And so Mum and Dad enrolled me in some piano lessons, and so I went through that. And yeah, just developed from that. I do remember a time when I was around, I was still in primary school, so I don't know, maybe 10, 11 years old, where I just wouldn't practice. And, you know, it wasn't like that I needed a lot of time to practice for those certain lessons that I was doing, but I just wouldn't. I just didn't put a lot of time into it. And I remember that Mum and Dad said they were going to cancel my piano lessons. And, you know, the rebel in me kind of thought, awesome.
Sure.
Now I've got more free time to be a kid. But then when I actually thought about it, it actually really upset me that I can't have that go away. I need that. That's something that's sort of a part of me now. And by that stage, I was getting, you know, okay. I was getting pretty good. I started probably playing in church when I was around the 12 mark, probably. Probably a little bit before that for items and things like that, and little bits and pieces, but really started playing for services probably I was around 12, 13. And yeah, to have the thought of that taken away was actually really daunting, and I was like, this is actually something I really like doing. So then I got into doing some jazz lessons and some improv stuff, and the person that was teaching me that was actually a Christian as well. So when he was teaching me those, it was written down as church songs, you know, so that taught me how to do the things that I do for church songs. And it sort of ruined it for other stuff, because I don't get into a lot of other sort of music now. When I'm playing, it's just all the, you know, church and gospel stuff, and that's okay. I like that. But yeah, I don't play a lot of stuff outside that.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of my time is taken up just making sure that I can do it right for church. So
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah, so yeah, that just developed into that, and I did that for a few years, the jazz thing, and that taught me just to be a bit more confident with improv and doing that sort of stuff and filling in things and that. I'm not a huge fan of real true jazz. I don't think it's got enough rules. I'm more like the blues sort of side of it,
sure.
because you know, it just sounds good to my ears, but everyone likes their own thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just where it went. And then basically it was just church and playing for gigs and playing for, you know, artists that would come over and do things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. That's so cool.
Yeah.
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 Like, yeah. Wow. Yeah, jazz does not have a lot of rules.
Yeah.
Nah, it's a bit loose.
We do often
yeah.
make jokes about it. We got a couple of Whopper students in the band, so
Yeah.
and we often make joke about it. You know, it's not a mistake; it's just jazz.
Yeah, and I've done a few things at Whopper, and that's the way it is. It's like I just think that they're just a bit loose.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you played for church since you were 12 years old. That's
so
That's
quite a while.
huge. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't start playing guitar until I was 15.
Yeah.
I didn't start playing. You started playing guitar 11 years before.
Yeah, so so what's that now? So I've been playing for, well over 30 years now. So, but in church, I mean, like I say, we probably did items and bits and pieces probably as a bit younger than that. But yeah, probably for services, I think I was around 12 or 13,
Yeah.
I think.
wow.
That's awesome. Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
I could just
Yeah.
I just can't imagine a 12-year-old getting up and joining in with a worship service.
Yeah, it was just, and it was,
amazing.
smaller church back then. And
So
it
sort of
was
forced.
not really forced. It was just, back when we had drums.
Lower risk.
Sometimes we had a piano and an organ.
Yeah, okay.
And a guitar, and that was church.
Yeah.
Drums sometimes, bass sometimes.
Yeah.
If we had that person there that week. But yeah, apart from that, it was just, and I think that taught me to, the piano was much more of a lead instrument back then. Like you didn't have a lot of songs written for guitars as are now. So that was, I guess, as the guitar scene sort of came on and bands changed. Particularly in Christian worship circles and stuff, it was actually a bit of an adjustment for me too, to learn to do something different because, if you had a guitar that was taking the lead, it's something that you don't do as a keyboardist. You're more of an accompanist. So, it's a little bit of a learning curve through that space, but I think that's been good too.
What's the thing you love the most about keys?
How much you can do on them. So, you're restricted on a guitar to 5 fingers or 6 strings.
Yeah.
A wind instrument, one note at a time.
Yeah.
I think some dudes are really cool and can do a couple of notes in some of those. But yeah, it's I think just how much you can do. You've got 88 keys at your disposal and you can sustain them so you can keep some going while you play others. And you've got 10 fingers, you can use all of them. So there's a lot that can happen in a really short space and you can make a big noise out of it. It's just got the ability to make a lot of music, make a lot of sound that a lot of other instruments don't have. I know that there's some really talented guys that make some other instruments really sing, but just I think the piano has the ability to make such a whole sound. Yeah, I think.
I mean, just from like the, obviously you can do the bass and the melody at the same time. Like it's pretty common.
Yeah, I just think there's just so much. It's just so big
Yeah.
as an instrument. Yeah.
Keys scare me because of how much I look at keys and go, I don't know where to start. Because there's so much.
So I've always really wanted to play the soprano sax.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. I would love to do that. But I look at all those buttons and that scares me.
Oh, really?
I did flute for a little while. My sister-in-law is a fantastic flautist and she taught me a few things. I didn't learn very much, but a lot of the little buttons, there's kind of just so much going on there. I'm such a small instrument. How do you learn what to do with that? Because in my brain, a piano is just so simple to me because it's just the note is just the next note that comes in order. It's kind of like the metric system and the imperial system. Metric is just so simple because it's just ones and tens and hundreds and really easy. The piano is just like, well, if you want to go a higher note, you just move up. But with other instruments, it's not always like that.
It's not always like that.
Yeah.
Saxophone it is, for the most part.
But I mean, you've got to control that with your breath, and where you're going with the
Yeah.
octave, whereas I can just look at that and go, well, if I want it higher, it's up there. If I want it lower, it's down there.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just because I play it.
Yeah, probably. But, it's interesting.
Yeah. So what would you say some of your personal challenges with piano is? Like, is there anything that that makes playing piano a bit harder?
I would like to be better at it.
It's just one of those things where, like, because you're at a level, you only ever see your the better.
No, it's not that. It's just that I don't. When I was doing some of that jazz blues stuff, I really got into that, and I loved that. And because I don't play that much anymore of that style, you lose a bit of that. And I wish that I had kept that up.
It's like a language, right?
It is, yeah. You got to keep it practiced. Just like anything, I guess. You got to keep doing it to be good at it. But yeah, I wished that I had kept doing more of that. And so I do. I watch a bunch of YouTube clips and muck around every now and then you get really good at that certain thing, and then you don't play that again for 2 months, and then I've lost it. So I guess finding the time to be able to keep that up would be cool.
Yeah.
And I see some guys play and I think, I don't even know how they do that. I don't even know how they make their hands do that. I mean, I've got quite small hands and short fingers, and so that's a bit of a challenge for me to reach certain things. But some of the things that these guys do, I'm just, I don't even know how you do that. I want to be able to do that. So I guess I get frustrated because I'm at a level where I can play stuff, but then I see other people play stuff. I'm like, well, why can't I do that? And I guess it's just practice. But
probably,
yeah,
probably practice the bane of my existence for sure.
And it goes back to the start of my story where I didn't practice as a kid, and mum and dad wanted to take that away. So, but now it's at a point where, well, I want it, and I have to, and I think, it's really important to know that that's a God-given gift, and so I need to practice because it's something that He has given me, and I need to honour Him by making sure that I keep that up.
Yeah, that's giving your best to God, right?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, so I think that's really important and something that I need to work on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Did you guys write any songs yourselves when you were in that band?
Yeah, heaps.
Jasper?
Yeah, we did. In fact, actually, I was talking to my mum just the other day who said she found a folder that's got a bunch of our old songs in it.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I thought, geez, we should try and get the band back together. And I mentioned that to my brother, and he's like, yeah. So whether or not that happens, I don't know. But I mean, we're spread all over the state now. We've got some that live in Esperance and bits and pieces. So I don't know whether that'll ever happen, but it'd be nice to dream, and one day we could get that together. We could maybe get most of them back together.
It'd be awesome. We could have you guys on Make Creative. That'd be sweet.
I'd love to get the guys back together. I don't know where they're at in terms of the instruments they used to play when we were a band. Because we did a lot of sort of that funk sort of stuff as well, the trumpets and stuff like that.
A cappella sort of stuff?
Yeah, we did do quite a bit of a cappella, which we fell into. We didn't actually mean to do that. We were just all sitting around at one of those jams and we all just started singing, and it turned out to be a 5-part harmony.
That's awesome.
And so we just kept doing it, and so we practiced a few of those, and that just happened.
I just love that. It turned out to be a 5-part harmony.
Well, it's just no one actually said, well, you sing bass and you sing soprano and you sing tenor. It just happened, and we all just fit in.
Sure.
And I think that's why we were a cool band, because we did gel really well. And we just sort of always knew what the other one was going to do. And our drummer and myself, like any fill that we did, we just matched up flawlessly every time, and just that sort of stuff.
Yeah, nice.
I feel, I mean, I'm biased, but I feel the same way about Make Creative in terms of like, everyone's like, at first it was, figuring out everyone sort of how they played and everything. But, and I would definitely say we're still growing as a band. But certainly like more like every single week that we practice, it's like that more, everyone, you kind of get a feel for what everyone's going to do.
I think that's what it is. It's just how much we played together. Yeah. We just jammed every week.
Yeah.
So there was no.
But also like when you would jam, it was all like super organic. It wasn't like
we didn't. There was no, and I guess as we started doing more gigs and stuff like that, then we had to be a little bit more orchestrated in the way that we did our practice, and rather than just going off on a tangent. But sometimes that's how the most creative stuff happened.
Oh, for sure.
But sometimes we just got to rein that in a little bit and say, hey guys, we've got to get back on track.
I mean, we found it like when we were writing our songs, we did the whole band stuff, recorded them, and then it was a lot looser because obviously we'd done the recording, so we got the set structure down. And then we came up with these cool like little intros and stuff that I wish we could have done anything else. Because the minute you're kind of a lot looser and you're like, all right, we don't have to record.
I think that's also something that I had to learn doing it from such a young age, that sometimes when you're actually playing for church as opposed to when you're rehearsing, there's a difference, and it's really hard to get rid of that. To just, it should always be like that. And so how do you prepare yourself for space? So we didn't do a lot of recording. So recording is something that actually makes me nervous because I'm a perfectionist and I want it to be perfect. And that I really struggle with that because and also it's hard for me because I never play the same thing twice. If I was to play the same song again, it wouldn't be the same as last time. So I don't know what I'm practicing because it changes every time. I can't. And if I play it the same, then to me that's boring. Sure. So I'm like, well, I've just done the same thing. Well, that's boring.
Struggle with recording.
So that's right. So I struggle to practice something that I would lay down the same every time because, it's different. The same but different.
I get it in terms of the perfectionism because like I have perfectionism as well, but it's I won't do it if I can't do it well. So like I'm kind of the opposite way in terms of like I won't try. So there's points in the recording process where I was like, I'm just not getting this. I just want to quit. Like, I'm done.
And we sat him down and we made him keep doing it.
Yeah, see, so that's I'm the exact opposite of that. I'm probably like that in life too. So for me, if I can't do something, I need to do it again and again and again until I am the best at that.
Yeah,
and I'm like that in life. Like I hate coming second at anything. I just I always want to strive to be best, even through my work. It's, you know, if there was some sort of a competition, I had to win it. Like, that's just what I'm like. And it's always, so I guess, you know, my wife sometimes thinks, you've just played that. And I'm like, because I would do the same little part of that song over and over and over and over again until I could do it, you know, backwards with my eyes closed, until like it just becomes second nature. But if I can't do that, if I don't have the time to do that, I do it for, like, I play for weddings a lot. I couldn't even tell you how many weddings. And
yeah, I've been to many weddings, and James
I always like to have all the songs really early, and I really like to practice them because that's someone's really special day, and I couldn't bring myself to make a mistake on that day. And so I really, in fact, I'm probably, out of everything, I probably get the most nervous playing at weddings because I want it to be right for them. Actually, going back in time, I wish I'd played for my own wedding. Yeah.
Interesting.
I want to play for my own wedding.
Yeah.
All right. You know, it's wild. We met like 3 or 4 years ago now on a youth camp.
We did.
That's crazy, eh?
We met the same time I met Sam.
What a wild.
There you go.
So
yeah, I mean, he brought me in.
Jamin would have
there you go.
Jamin and Jody are the reason I met Connor.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. How's it feel to like be the reason we exist? I'm so sorry.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
You know what's interesting?
You're welcome, son.
You know what?
Thanks, Dad.
Like I would say Jamin and Jody have been at the start of every single band I've been in. They've either been there to support us from the start, or
probably Jody more.
Jody more for sure.
Yeah.
But like I just put you in as a collective. It's just cool thing now that I look back on it, you know. Jamin and Jody have always been there for me. So
that's nice.
They were great because so you guys were camp.
Yeah, camp directors for Baptist youth camps.
And so I got called in to do the youth camp. Again, so sorry.
It was a good camp.
It was a
great camp. Yeah.
But yeah, I was really appreciative of that. And yeah, we ended up having a great old time, didn't we?
No, it was very good.
Yeah. I don't know if Jody was being honest or not, but she was like, "We need to have you back." And I was like,
no, she doesn't usually say things she doesn't mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good or bad.
Oh, that's good.
That's the one thing I really respect about Jamin is Jamin, like, although Jamin can be blunt sometimes, he will just tell you. Like,
I tried. I've tried to work on that as I get older.
I think
it's important to give the right feedback, but the way that it's delivered.
Just the way,
you know, I've always been pretty cut and dry, and something that I try to work on. Is the way that you deliver that, because I think that's important to deliver it the right way.
Yeah, people aren't going to hear it well if they're feeling just super
no, that's right. Or they might hear it, but then that can be really deflating at the same time.
Sure.
So
I think I think
like, how do you get that message across to someone and inspire them at the same time?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but yeah, I just like, it's kind of cool that you know, met Connor on the camp that you guys were running, and you guys were the ones doing worship that year. It was just you and Connor and your brother.
Yeah, Matt was doing it as well, and Jaden, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably Jaden as well.
No, Jaden wasn't there.
Wasn't there?
Wasn't it Jaden and Jacob Wild?
No. You had a very small band that year.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That tends to have, you know, you can go from having the stage so full to, you know, not much.
Yeah. I was totally fine. Worship still went off. It was great.
Yeah. Oh, the kids love
screaming.
it.
Kids screaming.
It always gets.
Was it? What's the one that they were, it was? I think it was Build Your Kingdom Here. They're like, all scream out, set your church on fire. Like, that was just something that they thought was like just hilarious within a song.
Maybe. It's one of my least favourite songs. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
that's okay.
Yeah. But thank you for for letting me come. And
No, it was awesome, man. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
We had a good camp. That was a fantastic time.
Yeah.
And all those camps, the way that you go into it is never the way God makes it work. And you might plan just the way that you think it should be done, and God might say, nope, it's going this direction. And you have to be. I think we learnt over the years to really just not be prepared, but our preparation had to be much more fluid, and because it might just go in a different direction. So we would just set the bare bones, and then God does the rest, really. Because it just depends on who speaks, how the kids react. There might be a service that really has an impact.
Yeah.
There might not be.
I just remember getting real freaked out because I think it was the first or the second message. I can't remember which one I did because I did like 7 or something.
7. There would have been 7, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Or 6 and an intro sort of thing, yeah.
It was a lot of messages. But like the first or the second one, I remember like the room was dead quiet and it freaked me out.
Yeah.
And then I really thought about it, realized I think that's the quietest the kids have been the
Ever.
entire time.
Yeah.
The entire time. So either they're asleep
or they're actually listening.
They're actually listening.
Yeah, imagine.
Either way, it's probably a good
whole
thing.
full of teenagers just quiet. Just
It's
amazing.
just not possible.
Yeah.
And somehow it was.
Yeah. So and that's the sort of thing, you just don't know. Yeah, you don't know. It's not up to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. We're going to wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wrap it up. Wrap.
Thank
You have to
you.
go and do a closing song.
Oh, I have to do a closing song? Do we
Yeah.
always do that?
Yep.
I feel like this is
We
new.
do. We just
This is like a
forgot.
new development.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on. Before we do that, I just need to acknowledge Joel is here.
Yeah. Joel
Yeah.
is here.
Yeah.
He did talk before. So
Did he?
yeah,
in the
he said something.
in the bits before we were recording, which I have no
Yeah, I'm
idea
gonna
whether
cut
we'll
that out.
actually make the podcast.
I'm going to cut that out so I'm right.
He never talked.
Oh, to have the control.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'll
Anyway,
only
that's,
send the
that's
parts
all
where
we-
I'm talking to you then.
That's all we need to hear from Joel.
Yeah, shh, quiet now, Joel. Yeah.
Big boys are
Quiet
talking.
now.
Oh, man.
Anyway, well, let's wrap it up. Thank you, Jamin, for coming.
No,
Thank
thanks,
you for
guys.
playing
Cheers.
for
Thank you.
us.
Yeah,
Really
thanks for
appreciate
playing for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's so good to have you on.
Yeah.
I mean, particularly I find that you've been a role model for me, especially just as a musician, but also as like a cool guy in the church. So it's been awesome to have you on.
Thanks, mate.
the podcast.
And people can comment where the mistakes were because I know where they were. So see if anyone else gets it right.
Yeah. See, for me, I
I would love to just. I love
picked-
someone would be real mean. Just put 0 to the end of the video.
Hey, that is fine with me. Yeah, everyone likes what they like. I'll meet them later. I'll find them.
I'll find them.
I'll find you.
Oops! I just gave away what I was commenting.
I'll find you.
Anyway,
Okay, we're gonna outro it, are we?
no, I'm going to plug first.
Oh, yeah, plug.
You can follow us on this YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. Give us a comment. All the helpful stuff. We're making our way to 200 subs. You can follow us on Instagram at Make Creative Worship, and you can follow us on Facebook at Make Creative. So that's how you can follow us. You hopefully soon can buy a shirt too.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
It should be very soon. You'll be able to buy shirts, and I will post them to you.
Yeah, just know it's
So-
Connor posting them to you.
Yeah. Well, look, I've just done a test run, and I'm waiting to see how it all works out.
Yeah.
So hopefully the
Do
shirts
they come with
arrive.
free gifts?
Or they come with a free plastic mail
Oh, yeah,
bag.
that's cool.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
pretty
I'm
good.
sure you can use
I don't
that
know
again.
if it's reusable.
No, well, yeah, I'll get them to send it back to me. I'll reuse it.
The same gift.
Cool.
We have
All right.
one bag.
Connor,
All right, here,
Sing us out.
Can you?
let's
Look, I think it should just be like, this was the Make Creative podcast.
okay.
See ya.
That was shocking.
All right, see you guys.